But the most important thing is mental health. And for that, everyone should at least, it is not some jumbo mumbo type of stuff, at least 10 minutes of simple meditation every day, which is simple breath meditation, will be able to guide you and be able to do this. So that is the key. And everybody, and I see, and I advise a lot, and work with a lot of people from the age of 21 who are going through all kinds of stuff like this, believe it or not. And they don't even know why. And so once you get this in order, I think everything else will fall in place. That's the...
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the People Hum interview series. This is your host Neha at People Hum. People Hum is an end-to-end, one-view, integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award that's specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We're on the People Hum blog and channel that receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month. We have with us today Vijay Parthasarathy, the Chief Brand Creator and CEO of InTouch Consulting. Vijay is an IIT/IIM alumnus and a brand strategy consultant with over 35 years of global experience across verticals of FMCG, OTC pharma, and consumer electronics and telecom. As a global CEO for over 20 years, he has energized 75 brands along with 15 ad agencies across 22 countries. Vijay's expertise includes areas like leadership strategy and business explosion strategy, amongst several others. We are very thrilled to speak with you today, Vijay, and to gain some insights through this conversation. Welcome to People Hum.
Thank you so much, Neha, for giving me this opportunity. And I feel quite privileged to be chatting with you today, and look forward to having a great conversation.
Thank you. Vijay, can you tell us a little bit about InTouch Consulting and the work that you do there?
Right. Sneha, at InTouch Consulting, we have a theme which says energizing brands and elevating minds. Effectively, we work on a model called the Golden Ladder, which has 6 steps, and that's how the whole company and all of us work on. The majority of the people in the world, if you see, in our opinion, they vibrate at a very ordinary frequency, which we form as the below the ladder. And there are a very select few who actually understood how to climb these 6 steps and vibrate at that kind of a different frequency, and whom we call as they shine like a diamond in the sky, and that's on the top. Now, what is it that makes the difference? And that's what we want to do. Like any other ladder, we have, this also stands on 2 legs. But the most important is the one leg, which we focus on, and like I think a majority of the people don't get it, is the real foundation or the software of the entire universe, which is what we call as the most powerful instrument in the world, which is like our mind, which is between our ears, and it doesn't have an instruction manual. So our role, what we do, is to be able to provide this kind of a instruction manual for this. Because we believe that not 70%, not 80%, not 90%, but 100% of whatever you see in this world is a product of the mind. I mean, right? Whatever you see on the outside is actually a product that's created inside, and that's what we believe. This is the first leg. And then, of course, the second leg, which is, of course, our business and our career and our relationships and everything else. But unless you get this right, the foundation right, whatever you do on the right-hand side can fall at the snap of a finger, which happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. And that's what we work on, as how we unite these two, basically, in terms of and create this unique mix. And one more thing, Sneha, is that everything that we do here is coming from first-hand personal experiences, nothing hearsay, etc. Wow. Whether we have been in these organizations or been in these places, and so this is the combination that we create in our organization.
Absolutely, that is so interesting, Vijay, and I love how you use the analogy of a ladder, because I feel like that is something that everybody can understand. That's a very, very interesting concept. In light of the pandemic and in your experience, how can businesses deal with their growth levels slowing down? So do you think that along with a particular mindset, like you just mentioned, some specific skills need to be inculcated as well that would probably ensure better resiliency at work?
Yeah, like once again, obviously, I have this strong feeling that If you have the mindset right, everything else falls into place. But having said that, let me see. In terms of, I would see probably two or three factors which will make a difference. If you see the market today post-COVID, the consumer behavior has completely changed. In terms of his needs have changed, and in terms of the requirements and the usage patterns and everything has changed, and the number of customers have reduced, in my opinion. And there is a huge amount of rush by many business owners and other people to capture the smaller audience. Now, to be able to do something and achieve success, you need to completely differentiate yourself. I feel the first parameter, irrespective of where you are, whether you're B2B, B2C, whether you're a startup, mid-size, large company, you need to change your products, which are based on your features and benefits and attributes and technology, into an entity, what we call as a brand. And you can do this at any time. And if you do this, you will be able to differentiate and stand out. So that's the first thing that one needs to do if you want to weather the storm, like as we say. And the second would be, a majority of the people also at this stage, and I have, in my over 30 odd years experience, I've seen this in different stages. If anything, any shit hits the fan, let's put it that way. The first thing they do is misunderstand the difference between expense and investment, and they start cutting investment, thinking that is expense, and they start increasing expense, that's thinking, and that is a key. And even in organizations which, even cutting advertising expense sometimes is not really the right thing to do. So investing yourself, investing in the knowledge, etc., is a key that differentiator would make between a success. If you want to be there, you need to understand what is investment, what is it that needs to cut, and let me see if there's and the other thing is which is I think in fact the most crucial is at InTouch we also have something called the ART of customer penetration, the acquisition, retention, and transference. And the most of the people, especially now, would be running after acquisition. And, they just like a floodgates open, let's get this customer, let's get this customer. When you start doing that, it's like an inverted funnel. You get a lot of people and they go through the stem very difficultly and they just fritter out. We have what we call as an 80-20-80 rule. That means in the next 6 months to 1 year, we recommend that you spend 80% of your time on 20% of your customers who are giving you 80% of the business.
Wow.
And if you work on that, you will be able to get time and energy to be able to do the rest of the 20% that you're missing out right now, you think. And what we call as a T is they will be the ambassadors to your business. So I feel, like I said, 3 things. Number 1, the ability to spend time on retention. And number 2 is the ability to differentiate between investment and expense. And the other is the ability to create a brand out of your product. And that's the key. These are the keys that I believe. There would be others, but I feel these would be the 3, differentiating parameters.
Definitely, and that is a very nuanced answer. I feel like you've put your years of experience into this power-packed answer for us. Thank you for that. Vijay, you've made a very interesting point about emotionally embedding one's product or service into the minds of the customer. So could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. See, I feel a lot of, okay, let's see how to paraphrase. See, we are right now going through COVID, okay? But if you go back 100 years and come back, there has been World War I, World War II, Great Depression, the Spanish flu, and million things have hurt this world. But there are a select few who seem to ride this wave time and again, not just ride the wave, but also be number 1. So they have understood a particular source, right? Now, whereas if you take the majority of the business owners or the companies, they're doing sales and they may be doing well also. But what happens is they're running after creating products based on what I said earlier, technology. They believe that technology is the all in all and features and benefits, etc. But whenever you create a product based on these, what happens is you transfer the power to the customer and he starts challenging you on showing you how 10 other products have better features and better benefits, and you are always on a treadmill. But the day you can create your product into a brand using a particular, say, I will explain in terms of a horizon or a rainbow of activity, then you transfer the burden of defending your product to the customer. He will start like it's like forget iPhone 1 and 2, take iPhone 8, 9, 10, and you go to an iPhone 8, 9, 10 user and tell him that I have a Samsung which has got 100 features better than you. He said, you go to hell. I mean, I don't want to look at you. That's because he will defend you. And this conversion of product to brand is based on one single question. And that the geniuses understand is answering this question is what is the real business that we are in? That the fact that Starbucks is not in the business of coffee, the fact that Royal Enfield is not in the business of bikes, they're in the business of self-expression, power, passion, courage. That is their, what we call as an X factor. The fact that Rohit Sharma can be the captain of the winning team of the IPL, and Virat Kohli may be a very average player of the lowest team of IPL. But Virat Kohli's brand value is a 230 million compared to a 23 million of Rohit. That 10 times. So that is created based on one single factor. And that word is emotion. When you create something using a feature benefit, it can be translated immediately. But if you create something based on emotion, it enters something called the prefrontal cortex of our brain, and it stays forever. And actually here is the bonus. Whenever we create something using an emotion, that the law of reversibility, as we say, is that when the customer feels that emotion for some other situation elsewhere, there is one cell in your brain which will bring your product back to your, to the core. And that's why if you can create this using that, but this is not easy because each particular business has got different kinds of emotions, and we have therefore our maybe about 1,000 odd businesses we have understood and taken out 6 emotions that play the key in everything. Like I'll give you an example if it's okay, if I can take a little more time on this.
Sure, yes, of course.
See, for example, in the business of juices, where everybody said it's impossible to penetrate, like the Tropicana and the Real and the Maaza and the Slice. Here comes a guy and he takes it to the skies. And I think you can guess it is Paperboat. Paperboat never talked about a feature called, say, fiber or a benefit called taste, and least of all, something called price. All Paperboat said was, when I was young, I took this paper, I folded it, walked to the riverside, made it into a boat, and put it and watched it float. Nostalgia. Paperboat understood there is an emotion called nostalgia, but it's important that there is an audience also to match and stitch. And that's why. So this is why we have about 6 emotions which can take care of about 95% of the businesses, and that's how we work on. I hope I have been somewhat clear in terms of.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like that ideology is indeed very commendable because now that I think about it, it just puts a lot of things into perspective. When you go back and you think about your favorite brands, you seldom just stop to question why they are your favorite brands or why they've stuck with you. But what you just explained makes so much sense. And I'm sure that our audiences are also nodding along their heads right now because all of it just makes so much sense right now. So thank you.
Can I just add, if you have a minute on this, because just based on what you just said, something reminds me. I tell this in a lot. If you ever choose a partner, like I tell, based on her hair or her eyes, etc., in about 3 to 6 months, you'll always find somebody with better hair and better eyes. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right? But whenever you choose a partner based on something that increases your heartbeat, resonates with something in the chemistry, like we say, then whether her hair becomes white or it vanishes altogether, you still have a bond, what we call, right? And that is therefore the features versus the emotion thing. That's why, and that's something that's very, personally close to me.
Definitely. And that's also very interesting, Vijay. While leadership is a widely discussed topic, do you think leadership strategy is something that most leaders end up neglecting to some extent? And how do you think that impacts their functioning of the organization on the whole?
I don't know if most people neglect, but what I think is whoever succeeds uses this. I mean, all the successes are people who use leadership. Now, there are many obviously aspects of leadership, etc. But there's one thing that I have found stands out very, very distinctly. And for that, I would recommend people to read this book called Shoe Dog. It's written by Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, at the age of 78. And he traces
Wow.
his journey from the age of 23 all the way, year by year almost. And that's when, I mean, a guy, a Stanford graduate, but gives up everything, sits in the garage and creates. And you know what is the one factor? The guy in 1963 goes to Japan when Japan and US were not in good terms, and actually creates a product called Tiger into USA, etc. I don't want to steal the thunder of the book, but the one factor that stands out is courage. Uh, if you have the courage, and I see it in even people like Mukesh Ambani and things like that, they have that kind of a courage and the risk-taking ability which takes them apart. And the other factor is the team that you have. I mean, apart from many other things that we all know, is one thing I've realized through a recent example at my own place is that if you're willing to put your neck on the block, as it were, the team is willing to look at you with respect and also be able to or take security in identifying with you. Like, I'll give you an example. Recently, there was a situation when a particular team was not doing well. And I came there and I told the team leader that the next time this happens, we are going to cut 1,000 rupees from each employee. The team leader immediately nodded. He said, damn good, damn good. But I said, next question, I told him, we'll start with you. The next time, the first 1,000 rupees will go from you. He completely kept quiet. He did not want to say yes. And I said, what happened? You are so okay to say 1,000 rupees for the employee, for your team. Then I said, let's make it at least 500. Even then there was a lot of resistance. So then the team loses respect. See, if you are the first person to be able to want to put your neck on the block, then that is the kind of security that the team feels. And that's leadership, and that's courage, and that's Shoe Dog, and that's Phil Knight, and that's Nike at 40 billion today. So, so that's what I feel. And you also can do different things. Like, for example, if you're a leader, especially let's take today, pandemic and what's happening today. If you go out in the market, you need to do different things. I mean, for example, maybe you can create new uses for the same product. I know a couple of friends of mine who have created new products for their own audience. They have converted their whole thing. I mean, I understand a lot of people have gone to sanitizers and PPE kits, but apart from that, creating some new users for the same product, creating new products for the current users, or looking at new audiences, or even their organizational structure, for example. Instead of having the traditional pyramid structure, etc., some people have gone for cluster-based organizational structure where one team and another team work together and they don't necessarily report into each other but come towards a common goal. Or maybe look at something like a different distribution strategy, like what far before Amazon came in. I don't know if you're aware, but I'm sure Asian Paints created this revolution in the 60s when they cut off the entire intermediary and went direct to the customer, which is why it's very difficult to beat Asian Paints today. They may not be the best product, but they're number one they're number one, and that's what leadership does. Do some insane things and take a chance. So that's what I feel a leadership is all about today, and these are the people who will really make it to the top of the golden ladder.
That's a very wonderful way to put it, Vijay. Thank you. Lastly, do you have any passing remarks for our audience?
Many, but one thing stands out is that over the next 5 years to 5 years at least, the key element is going to be mental health. Yes. And the pandemic has proved far more. There are many things that will happen, but the most important thing is mental health. And for that, everyone should at least, it is not some jumbo mumbo type of stuff, at least 10 minutes of simple meditation every day, which is simple breath meditation. Will be able to guide you and be able to do this. So that is the key. And everybody, and I advise a lot, I mean, and work with a lot of people from the age of 21 who are going through all kinds of stuff like this, believe it or not. I mean, and they don't even know why. And so once you get this in order, I think everything else will fall in place. And
Definitely, that's very valuable advice. And when I say that, I feel that's the entire interview that just took place. So thank you so much, Vijay, for speaking with us today. It was a great conversation, and I wish you and your business all the best.
Thank you so much, Neha, for having me, and wish you and all your team and your family a fantastic end of the year and amazing 2021. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.